If you're struggling with drawing clothes for your character, then this will help you. So first let's start with some basics. So basically we need to know about tension points. And these are the points that pull, stretch or compress our fabric. So let's say we have one tension point here, which pulls the fabric, making the fold. So basically all lines are going into that tension point, like you see here. So it basically creates tension in your fabric. And you can have multiple tension points, so here we have two. And they hold this cloth in space. So naturally the cloth is affected by gravity, so it tries to go down, but you see here it cannot. So basically all the lines are going to those tension points. Okay, and here it creates this U shape. And you can see it here when we actually move the tension points closer, we get a bigger U shape. And if we pull it further, we get more squished U. And obviously my brushes are for free in the link below, but also with them you get 30 art tips in 30 days. You can check the link below. Now then we will need to actually have some shapes that we can build the folds and the clothes with. So basically we need a couple of them. So a basic triangle, a basic cylinder, and that's basically it. Also, like the lines C, S and I, the curves, will make our, as you see here, clothes more dynamic. So basically here we have like a one cylinder, you see here. Also it's good to actually taper them, so don't make like one boring fold, make them like more tapered to basically to tension point. And you see that it goes like that. Here obviously we have another cylinder, okay, boom. Here we have like a triangle, here also triangles. I like to actually put triangles where we have like a small fold that is really close to the tension point. Like you see here, there would be a tension point, basically on this fabric here, boom. Obviously here, boom, boom. And here we have like a bigger ones, okay, boom, boom. So basically you want to like build those tension points with these shapes. But also it all depends on the fabric, because here you can see that the fabric is much harder because we have less curves. And instead of curves, we have like more straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see here that we have more straight lines instead of like S's and C's. So like here we have more like triangles and straight lines. So you just gotta think about the fabric that you're actually drawing. And also another good like tip for drawing clothes is T-lines. So see here that we can show overlap. So basically this goes behind this, which creates a T-line. Okay, this goes behind, and here we have the same. This goes behind this. So we can show like overlap and more depth with T-lines. So let's draw this simple shirt, or maybe not that simple. But first, a really good tip is to start with a body, and I've already like drawn something. So then it will be much easier to actually lay clothes on top. Obviously, if you want to, you can actually like skip this and just go straight into drawing like clothes. But the most important thing when drawing clothes is to actually take a second and observe the reference and try to break it into simple shapes. So here we can already see like a big shape. So we can make this shoulders here, straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line, boom, boom. We have a really basic shape that we can use for our main body, main torso. And obviously we just erase this, boom, and we have it. So in this first stage, you basically just observe the reference and you look for these shapes. Here we have another shape. You can actually make it like a cylinder. And basically this stage is to observe, to look for the relationships. So let's say like this is actually aligned with this. Also in this stage, we want to actually look for negative space. So this space is here. And then when we're drawing, we want to actually try to recreate this shape here and also here. But yeah, just see what aligns with what and try to break these things into basic shapes. But yeah, let's start with the basic shape. Basically, first, let's actually do this. Boom, boom. Okay, now this, I can see that this is bigger than this, and we need to observe this. So let's make it like that. And then we can actually do the color, and it will make our lives easier. So here we have chin. Also we have chin. It aligns with this. So we need to look for these things. And it's probably like somewhere here. Here we have like a triangle here. Boom. Now let's imagine that there's actually color behind this. This goes past that. And we can actually go straight down now. And we can see that it's angled a little bit. I mean, in this stage, I just measure things. I just place some landmarks to know where to put things. And here we can actually take this length from that to that, boom, and put it here. So basically the shirt is a little bit longer than that. So we can do the same stuff here. Boom, boom. Let's see. Boom. Somewhere here it would be. Obviously we can later go and adjust stuff, so it probably would be a little bit like that. This goes actually more curved like that. A triangle here, another triangle here, and just lay some basic shapes. Boom. And a lot of overlap. And in this stage, like, you won't be drawing all the folds, like here a fold, okay, there's another boom boom. No, here we just lay a basic shape, and that's it. That's it. Somewhere around here it would go like that. But also we need to know the pens, and remember, if something doesn't look right, we can always change it later. Okay, we can actually make this like that. Boom. There would be something like this. Okay, now here we have our pens. I think here it curves like that, goes at an angle. Boom. Okay, let's now change this a little bit, push this a little bit here. Boom. Okay, a little bit adjustment, and just now do arms. So boom, basically look for simplifying shapes. Boom. It's actually super important to measure. I actually never done this, so that's why I'm doing this a lot now. It's a game changer, to be honest, like a real one. Okay, boom. There would be a little bit cylinder. Okay, let's leave it for now like this, maybe a line here. Okay, now let's do the other sleeve. Let's now place the other sleeve. Okay, boom. Now where would it be? So here we have pens. We can actually, I think, push it a little bit more, like wider. Okay, boom. It would be like a zipper or something. Boom. We can see here that it goes basically like middle. So what about here? So it should be like something like that. Okay, boom. Now let's make this sleeve again. This aligns with the other one. Okay, there we have like a small shape here. Boom, a little bit overlap here. Boom, boom. This shape like that. Okay, and this goes here. And I think that that shape is, it could be easier, so let's make it. Here a simple cylinder like that, and probably we can actually this shape make in two. Now we can probably flip obviously the canvas to see where we've made some mistakes and where things look off. That can go a little bit here. Okay, let's now finish the sleeve here. Here we can put a simple small T-line here. So basically it a little bit tapers here. So let's actually make the same. So here would be a neck like that, something. Okay, boom. Here would be another one of these. Boom. Let's make it like that. Okie dokie. Now let's make this here. So basically it would go like this and here. Boom. Right. Actually it goes a little bit here. Now it's good. Now let's put like a simple this curve here that will help us, and actually we can adjust those sleeves a little bit. They go like here. Obviously I won't be drawing arms today, so let's add a simple something like that. Boom. Now we can actually go and fix the shapes a bit, like even more simplify them. So look at the reference. Boom. Like make them look more clean, I guess. Here in this stage we basically have our simple like sketch. Okay, so now we can go and actually add some folds. So we can make a new layer, and now first fold will be here. It is like a half lock fold, kinda, because the arm here is bending. You can see like this fold here. So let's erase these for now. Boom. Okay, and we can add this here. So it would be something like that, and simple line. Now here this would go like, you see this C here, actually it's an S, and here like this. Okay, and there is a small crease. But also, like with drawing folds, whenever drawing folds, it's super important to just don't draw every single of them. We want to actually skip something because we want to actually simplify it and make it look much cleaner. Like you probably see those AI slops on Pinterest where they have 1 trillion of folds and it doesn't look good. And I used to do this mistake when I started drawing, so we can skip that. Now we can add this fold here. Boom. A simple like a triangle will be enough. Now let's add this sleeve transition. Boom. And here obviously is another line. Here we can see a little bit ambient occlusion, but we won't be going in this today. it will be for another video about rendering. Here is a simple like a bump. We can obviously do that. If you don't want to, we can simply just make a straight line. Now we see that this now goes boom, and here something like that. We can change that, and now draw this folds here. So maybe let's start with simple arm, and on top we see a fold, something like that. Boom. Okay, this can be erased. Here we see a C, a curve, okay, and behind this is something else. Okay, now here we can put a simple straight line for this. Boom, boom. Okay, now here we can cut this corner. Boom, and maybe actually push it a little bit like that. Here we see another fold, something like that. Okay, and this, we can see that it's kind of together. So we want to go from this fold another C here and triangle here. So we can actually do this like that, and here is another one. Actually push this a little bit because we see that this is smaller. Okay, boom. Okay, and maybe like a fold like this here. Okay, now let's go. Maybe actually push this leaf here. Boom. Now let's go here, and we see here that we have a fold behind this, and here we have a triangle. Okay, erase that, and now put this fold around here, and basically we can draw this with like a curve, like a C. So let's put it here. We'll go behind this, do this like that, and here obviously we have a triangle. So now let's go and draw pens. Simple pens can be like that, and I won't be going like in depth with these pens. This shape here, boom, boom, and it should be. So now let's add this fold here, boom, a simple C, simple triangle. Now here we have a tension point, and it goes like this. So here will be probably another one on the shoulder. Let's draw this fold right here. Basic goes from the button. Okay, boom, and here we have like a cylinder. Now also here would be another one, something like that. Another cylinder here. Here we see another one, so we can draw this. Boom. Add a better border here. Boom. Now here we have our pocket. Let's draw this. Boom. And here we have another fold that actually goes on this, so it creates something like a triangle here. We can do this. Okay, maybe erase this a little bit because it's not that strong here. And here we see another fold from around here. So we can obviously like laying these folds it's pretty useful when you'll be rendering them. So that's why we kind of want to place them. Obviously you can go like straight into rendering from the get-go, and it also will be good. Okay, so now let's go for the next arm. Let's start with this here sleeve. So here we have actually a lot going on. So we want to break it down. Again, a simple sleeve here. Let's actually probably erase things a bit. Okay, then we have a T-line here. Boom, boom. This goes behind. This like that. Now erase it a little bit more. Obviously, now let's restore the shape a little bit. So here would be something like this. Okay, and now let's just add these folds. So let's start with maybe this one here. Okay, here. Boom. So with this we have here this triangle. Okay, this here. So we want to make it here. Maybe we can actually even make it darker. Now let's add this here. So basically this goes like this from it wraps around here. Boom, like that, and it creates this triangle here. So boom, can be simple as that. Here, straight line, and now from this we can see another triangle here. Basically we want to make it like that, and here we can see another thing like something like this. Boom. Goes from here, boom, and here we have this, obviously a simple like a triangle here, but we don't have to like put all these details here. We can like make it a little bit darker. Boom. This would go, actually we can push this a little bit down because it's more at the height of this. Let's erase this like that. Boom. It's like really important to know the forms you want to draw a good folds because you need to know what's happening here actually. Now let's go here, which we have these triangles. So let's now do this here, boom. So basically another like a C, another triangle, curve here, boom, and this here overlaps. So it goes like that. Okay, now we have another one going from this, like you see here, boom, 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 like three lines. Now this goes here, which creates another T line. Like T lines are super important. Now this goes from here. So here we have this, so we need to just do something like that. Okay, erase this like this, boom, and another. We don't have to render it or do basically anything, though we can put like a simple shadows with our brush to just know like the planes and stuff. And yeah, so that's basically, now to actually summarize everything, what we want to do is basically start with either like start with just a basic mannequin for your character, or just go straight into drawing the clothes, and then you just lay like big shapes first. So for example here you just break it, like break this in your head to like basic shape here, like you see something like that, maybe like that here, boom, boom, boom. Okay, like some really basic shapes. Then you add some smaller details like folds, and then you can actually go and like just refine shade stuff. And remember, less is more. And if you don't know how to actually draw folds, then you can check out this video where I go over folds and what you need to know to be able to draw them. And also you can check out my Patreon for more tutorials. Bye.